Yeah, it's going to take. Okay, it is up if you want to get to it. Is everyone in? Okay, we have the revision, adoption, and the ordering of the agenda for the regular. I'm sorry, we are reconvened at 5:38. Sorry about that. We have a motion for the revision, adoption, ordering of the agenda.
So moved.
Jose and Joan. Any comments, questions? No, please vote. Thank you. Report out of closed session.
There is no report out of closed session tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. District update by the superintendent.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for many, many years. CMI came at the end, and I think putting them first and giving them some spotlight has been a good thing. I commend the board for making that change. Okay, well, we're going to start off with a RAVE award. So our Chief Human Resources Officer, Tanya Davis, and Diane Martin are going to recognize a wonderful employee.
Good evening. For those members or audience members who don't know what a RAVE award is, let me explain that it's an award to recognize all valuable employees. We give it out when people reach out to the Human Resources Department when they want to rave about someone. So I'm going to invite Miss Diane Martin up to rave about her employee.
Thank you, Tanya. So before I read my little passage, I'd like to invite the recipient of the RAVE Award up. So if Helen Steinmetz can please join me at the podium. It is a total surprise. We kept it from her all day. Surprise!
That was like the Academy Awards without Chris Rock. That was amazing.
So I'd like to just say a few words about Helen. Oh my God, I could start tearing up too. This award is to recognize the outstanding efforts of a woman who has rocked my world. Oh God, don't even start now. Okay, we got a bunch of crybabies up here. Okay, I have never met a person with such tenacity, passion, and a work ethic that would put many to shame. Helen has embraced her new job duties with enthusiasm and excitement. She works with students and parents for multiple programs, including our Workability program, GATE, Parent University, our CTE program, and all of our after-school programs as well. I have not met anyone who can compare to her organizational skills, her attention to detail. She's a taskmaster extraordinaire. She's proven to be an asset in our office, and everyone has truly enjoyed your witty charm. And I can say that probably speaking for some of the supervisors that you've had in the past, they would certainly agree. So thank you, Helen. Thank you. That's why your husband's
I know one of her former bosses in the audience, Mr. Hauser, and Helen, you've really moved up, working. Okay. At the next board meeting on April 20th, Chad Shaner will be giving an update on the sports challenge. He just happens to be here tonight. And I think it was our 4th annual. Is that correct, Mr. 6th? I'm losing track. That's why they're replacing me. 6th annual sports challenge. And if anybody doesn't know, this is an event where some of our students are severely handicapped. come and they participate. It's like the Olympics. Mr. Shaner's got the loudspeaker going and food and parents and festivities. But most importantly, he has regular ed students in there, and they get so much out of it by participating and understanding that the world doesn't revolve around them. And all of our schools are involved. It's not just a Paris High event, although Paris High hosts it. And Mr. Shaner, I want to thank you again for your leadership in making it happen. It doesn't happen without you. And I know the students and the parents, you see the tears and the joy that they go through. So again, thank you and look forward to your comprehensive report on April 20th. Well, I just need you to know that some great things are going on in the district, and today we're going to talk about the Heritage FFA program. They competed at UC Davis recently and took second place in nursery landscape, third in veterinary science, sixth for a freshman in Best Informed Green Hand, sixth in vegetable crops, and 17th farm records. Livestock judging was 40th. It was a huge, I know, did he leave? No, there he is. Sir, how many, Mr. Madalena, how many competitor schools were involved in this?
Several hundred at this event. They actually have to turn people away. It's so bad.
Yeah, several hundred. And in Escondido recently, also probably at a very well-attended event, Best Informed Green Hand was fourth place, Livestock fifth, Record Book second place, OH first place. Wow. Vegetable Crop first place, and Veterinary Science first place. So, Mr. Madalena, I hope you'll congratulate those students and those teachers. We're very proud of what they do, and I know they make us all proud. So, thank you. Also, speaking of good news, it wasn't too long ago that the Paloma Valley High School, NJRTC, was ready to close down. We're down to about 60 kids. The Navy was telling us they're going to have to vacate the program. Well, under the leadership of Master Sergeant Frank Puebla, they have just grown by leaps and bounds. About 250 students, Mr. Williamson, is that about right, that are involved? And they just got evaluated and by the NJROTC area manager, Area 7, and here's their overall rating. School system program support, outstanding. Administration of program, outstanding. Academic program, outstanding. Reports and records, outstanding. Cadet performance, outstanding. Student mentoring, outstanding. Overall unit grade, outstanding. So, Mr. Williamson, please share our thanks and congratulations to your wonderful NJROTC program at Paloma Valley High School. Switching gears, you have probably heard that we are the FAFSA district. We are after any senior that is not applying for financial aid. And we're the counselors under the tutelage of Ms. Zerold and Dr. Newman have done a wonderful job, but we broke out different than any other district. On Monday night, we still had a group of students who hadn't submitted. And as a leadership team, we have our leadership meeting, and we did something way out of the box. And again, not my idea. Credit goes to Dr. Newman and Ms. Zerold. They had a list of all the students and their phone numbers. And so what we did as a leadership team is we divided up the list, and we made 597 calls. And I really commend the leadership team because, I mean, that's how much we believe in our kids, and we don't want them to leave any money on the table in terms of going to college or going to trade school, wherever it is they're going to do. We made 597 calls. And so, Mr. Bennett, I hope you'll share with your team that it's amazing. I know you wanted to say a few words about that as well.
Yes, it was a great evening, but what was really neat is we had people from other districts coming to see what we were doing with it. They were coming and taking pictures of our people making these phone calls. And then we had Catalina Cifuentes, who's our rep from RCOE, come. And she saw all the people scattered around in buildings making calls, and she was crying because she couldn't believe what we were doing to try to reach these students. So it was just a great event, and we were really excited about what we were able to do for our kids.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. In fact, we had the Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services from Val Verde coming to see what Paris Union was doing. So we really appreciate Mr. Lenore coming in. And again, our goal, this is not Right now, I think CMI is in the lead for the small school division, and right now Heritage is in the lead for the comprehensive high school division, and Paloma and Paris are on their tail and doing a great job, and many, many, many more students have applied this year over last, and our goal always is to get to 100% and see some improvement in that every year. So thank you to everybody who was involved in that. Well, just yesterday, I attended the Inland Code Consortium partnership announcement, and I'm going to tell you what that means, because if I tried to do it off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to do it. So here's a press release. Paris Union High School District, along with 8 other school districts, is announcing a formation of an Inland Empire Code Consortium, the largest alliance of school districts in California, to partner with the nonprofit Code.org. The goal of this consortium is to increase participation in computer science courses by women and underrepresented students of various ethnic backgrounds. The official announcement took place yesterday at the Bournes Technology Center in Riverside. Along with PUHSD, the consortium contains Corona Norco Unified, Covina Valley Unified, Fontana Unified, Jurupa Unified, of course us, Riverside Unified, San Jacinto Unified, Temecula Valley Unified, and the Val Verde Unified School District. The partnership will begin with the training of teachers in June of this year, while students will begin engaging with curriculum starting in the fall. Students within the participating districts will have increased access to computer science courses, curriculum, and resources. The partnership will also provide new opportunities for professional development and training for Paris Union High School District and consortium district teachers, in addition to creating a sustainable program via community support of teachers. Code.org is a nonprofit dedicated to expanding computer science education by making it available in more schools and increasing participation by women and minorities. Their vision is that every student in every school should have the opportunity to have access to computer science education. Code.org believes computer science should be part of the core curriculum in education alongside of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM courses such as biology, physics, chemistry, and algebra. Code.org is excited to partner with the Paris Union High School District and all the partner districts to expand access to computer science. They are among a handful of districts leading the nation in this movement, said Cameron Wilson of Code.org. This partnership can help change the lives of the district students by preparing them to think critically about real-world problems and put them on a pathway toward the highest demand jobs in the U.S. economy. And this is a quote from me that I think Mr. Williams put together, and it almost sounds like it could have come from me, but it came from Mr. Williams, and I appreciate that, Mr. Williams. The Paris Union High School District wholeheartedly supports the goals of the Inland Empire Code Consortium. Our Scholar Plus initiative made PUHSD one of the first districts in California to embrace giving every student a computer. Our one-to-one adoption has been enhanced this year by our addition of makerspaces at almost all sites and our approval of a computer programming science pathway this year. We look forward to working with Code.org and our consortium partners in the inland region going forward. And of course, we have some of our tech coaches here, and Mr. Williams, we thank you for reminding us and telling us what we need to do in order to prepare students for the jobs they're going to face in the 21st century. So thank you, everybody, for your support on that. I think that deserves an applause. Come on. All right, Ms. Davis, tell us about Casino Night for employees. As you know, we've been working hard to improve morale. Mr. Agundes and the board made that a important part of what we were doing moving forward, and we had a great casino night. So, Tanya?
We did have a great casino night. I would like to start off by thanking the Employee Morale Committee. Not everybody's here, but the hard work that went into it. I see a couple of people in the audience. The stuff that goes on behind the scenes to make sure something like that is pulled off is amazing. And they do it outside of their work hours, and they meet after hours, and I appreciate their commitment. So regardless of the amount of rain that poured down on us as we were preparing, I think some people thought they should swim to the casino night. It was held last Friday. We had over 150 RSVP'd, and even though it rained horrendous gallons of rain, it was torrential.
We might have had for Southern Californians, we might have had a half an inch.
No.
Okay, But we all know half an inch, Stormwatch 2016.
I thought we might have to build the ark, but we didn't. We had a little over 100 people still show up, and we had a great time. All the tables were full. Joe, thank you so much, and having your kids help with balloons and all the decorations. Juno Fernandez was just instrumental in organizing everything, and thank you, Mr. Nellison, for coming and bringing your wife. I did hold down the fort with your money and let you guys go take pictures.
You did lose some for me.
It was only like $500. But this is a picture of our top 3 gamblers for the night, and they won our top prizes, and they looked...
Isn't that Vicki Mueller's son on the left? I guess he's a future employee of the Paris Union High School District.
But all employees got to bring a guest. So anyway, it was a great time, and it looked like everybody had a lot of fun. And I just appreciate all the support, and I appreciate the board's support to help us improve morale.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis. Appreciate that. Board members, public, some upcoming events. We have the LCAP stakeholders meeting coming up on March 22nd. On April 6th, we have the employee recognition event, 4:30 p.m. at Monteleone Meadows in Murrieta. On April 9th, we have the Puma Golf Tournament. All the money raised goes to student scholarships, and Nick Newkirk and Grant Bennett and all the people that put that together. Thank you very much. I can't wait to laugh at you as you're golfing. We are in the open house season, so been to a number of schools. We got a few of them left. Spring break is coming up. It starts next Friday, March 25th through April 3rd. So for the last 8 years, I have taken on a project, and I have had some partners. I don't care if you're a Democrat, a Republican, Independent, Christian, Jew, Muslim, whatever you happen to believe in. I think all of us agree that nobody should be hungry in America. And it's sad that our students, our families are going without food. So there is a wonderful organization in Menifee called the Menifee Valley Community Cupboard, and we've supported them for 8 years by doing a karaoke event. I won't call it a song. It's kind of an event. And each year we ask our managers, we ask our business partners to contribute. Last year we were able to raise for our little act $4,740. We did Grease. What did we do? Summer Love. Summer Love. We did Summer Love, and we won the People's Choice Award, which we shamelessly win every year because we're not good. We can't win on talent. Actually, Tanya's good. I'm not. But this year we've already raised $5,332. We'll be there Friday night. I can't tell you the name of the song yet because, again, it's confidential all the way up until the time. But I will tell you that every year that we've done this, not only has Tanya been my partner in every year, I also want to thank our business partners, our administrators, and a special thank you to Bill Clough, Adriana Lepe, and Don Williamson, administrators in our district, who every year, whatever we tell them to do, they do. And again, we're just so happy to be able to give the community cupboard that amount of money so they can continue to feed the people who need it this time of year. And finally, we have a retirement tonight, and it's not mine, not yet. I want to announce that Lynn Braxton, who's been our coordinator of special education, is retiring after 3 years in the district. And I thank Brian Morris for this wonderful email. He said, I've been asked to share this email on behalf of Lynn Braxton, Coordinator of Special Education. It is with joy and sadness that I share this message. Lynn has announced that she will be retiring at the end of the school year. Her final day with us will be June 30th. Lynn has done an outstanding job serving as Coordinator of Special Education since 2013. As an educator, she's recognized as an expert in special education law, and she's passionate in her desire to help students, her colleagues, and she's the epitome of professionalism and a great friend to all of us. Lynn is a role model to our students, staff, and community. Public education and the Paris Union High School District are better off due to Lynn's leadership and commitment to students. We will miss her expertise and friendship. Lynn is definitely going out in style. She and her husband, Emmett, have purchased land in Atlanta and are having the privilege of watching their home being built from the ground up. Is anybody else jealous about this? I am. Lynn has family and friends on the East Coast. Retirement will bring her closer to her family. I just want to make sure, Lynn, that you know from the Board of Education, District Administration, the employees and the students of the district, thank you for your 3 years. Could you just stand up so we can applaud you? Ladies and gentlemen, Lynn Braxton. And Mr. President, that will conclude my report for this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Greenberg. Student representatives to the board. Trustee Rouse.
It's all right. From Heritage High School, let's welcome Daniela Lopez and Andrea Quiñones.
Good evening, members of the board and members of the cabinet. We are excited to talk about some great things happening at Heritage. Spring sports have begun and our teams are doing well in their competitions, and we wish them lots of luck as they continue their season. In February, we held our annual Mr. Heritage pageant, which is a male pageant where the contestants compete in talent, casual wear, formal wear, and question and answers. We want to congratulate Gilbert Hernandez as this year's Mr. Heritage. In February, we also held our Spirit Week, Pep Rally, and Morp Dance. It was a little wild with our neon jungle theme, but everyone had a great time. One of our hashtags that we used was like Heritage Gone Wild. It was a lot of fun. We held our last blood drive of the year on February 24th. The Key Club and Interact Club have done an amazing job this year in hosting the blood drives and have collected many, many units of blood. We already started to recruit Lean Crew leaders for next year. We had well over 200 teacher recommendations given. Lean Crew has led our presentations at this month as we have visited our 4 feeder middle schools. They will also be hosting a movie night on Tuesday the 22nd. On Friday, our junior class officers are hosting a prom expo. They have worked very hard to put together a fashion show and vendor show to help our students get ideas and discounts on prom. Tomorrow and Friday, Avid will be taking their first overnight sophomore trip. They will be taking 44 students to visit 4 colleges in the LA area, one of which, of course, is UCLA. In FFA, our teams have been to some field days recently and have been making their mark in the state, placing first and second in several categories. They are also hosting a plant sale tomorrow and Friday at the Arc after school. If you need any plants, feel free to come down. They have flowers, vegetables, herbs, and succulents. On March 22nd, Heritage is hosting a career fair. Students will have the opportunity to get information on careers and career paths from over 70 different companies. This has been put together by Miss Fowles and Miss Jones, and we thank them for all their hard work on this event. Heritage will be hosting our open house and 8th grade orientation night on April 19th, and we hope to see you there to check out more of our awesome sports, clubs, and academic programs. One of the things we are most proud of at Heritage met our FAFSA goal of 85% of the senior class completing and submitting their FAFSA applications. Counseling reports that we are actually expected to surpass our goal once finals numbers are in. This makes Heritage number 1 in the county for similar size schools. This took months of hard work and dedication from our administration, counseling office staff, senior teachers, and especially our counselors. We are also anxiously awaiting Principal Arce's promise of dyeing his hair red, white, and blue since we met our goal.
It's a good thing it's this year because, you know, that's not as much as he had when he started here.
Another event we are looking forward to is our second annual VIP prom. This is a prom hosted by our ASB for students with special needs from our 3 high schools in the district. The theme is A Night Under the Stars, and it will be held at HHS on April 16th from 6 to 9. You are all welcome to attend this extra special event. If I can add, this is one of my favorite events that ASB all does together. We all come together and we all individually ask our favorite student, and it's one of my favorite events. It's one of the happiest things to see all their faces and dancing and singing. It was just so much fun for the first time we did it.
For a final note, we want to congratulate our Student and Staff of the Month for February and March. Student of the Month for February was Candice Rosado, and for March, Logan Dries. Teacher of the Month of February was Greg Newman, and for March, Stacy McPherson. Classified of the Month of February was Sylvia Sandoval, and for March, Deanna Hamilton. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Trustee Twyman?
From Paloma Valley, Kayla Madrid.
I apologize. Kayla was supposed to be here, and she had a softball game that was running over, and she was going to try to find a replacement at last minute, so it doesn't look like she did.
Not a problem. Trustee Cooley?
From Paris High School, Melissa Vasquez and Alexandra Vella.
Hello. Good evening, President Nelson, board members, Superintendent Dr. Greenberg, and Cabinet. I'm Melissa Vasquez, Junior Class President, and your ASB School Board Representative, along with our ASB President, Edson Miranda, who is helping me today because Alex is preparing for the drama production, Hairspray. In January, we held our second to last blood drive. In total, we had 206 donors registered, 37 donors were deferred, and 160 units were collected. We also registered 71 first-time donors. PBIS, Positive Behavior Intervention and Support, hosted a multimedia presentation that focused on good decision-making, and the assembly was optional, but however many attended. Core values entered in the second round of student nominations. Winners are announced by video. Students are nominated for qualities such as perseverance, relationship, integrity, dignity, and empathy. Now on to February. AVID went on its Northern California college trip, which I also went to. Students toured 20 colleges over 6 days. The Freshman Foundation classes completed its 4-part assembly series hosted by Link Crew that covered topics such as A through G, decision making, and where to go get answers. The assembly touched on graduation. The guest speaker was Mr. Hilton, and a graduation gown was signed by the freshman class as a symbolic gesture that they are committed to graduating. February was Black History Month. Each day in February, ASB read a quote from prominent African Americans. APAC, African American Parent Advisory Committee, held its first award banquet that celebrated the success of all Paris High students. Many attended the event, and one lucky student walked or rolled away with a hoverboard donated by local sponsors. Finishing off the month, JROTC held its military ball, and the guest speaker was Assembly Member Melissa Melendez from 67 District.
Okay. Hi, my name is Edson Miranda. I'm the ASB president. So for activities in March, we had Sadie Hawkins. On Friday the 4th of March, Paris High School had a prep rally to honor spring sports and to promote its all school dance. So this is furthermore on that subject. It's the last prep rally that everybody gets to attend, like everybody as a whole high school, because our next ones, they're either divided into either underclassmen or upperclassmen. So that same night, over 250 students came back to the school to dance the night away at the year's Sadie Hawkins. The The theme was Phantom of the Sadies. The prep rally and dance were decorated in black and red candelabras and red lights that set a dark and mysterious mood. We also had the sports challenge. Paloma Valley, Heritage, and Paris High School all came together in the Panther Stadium for this year's sports challenge. Athletes and their mentors participated in various activities, giving our students with special needs the thrill of competition. I would like to thank all who helped to provide this event. Further on, we had FAFSA. So seniors who submitted their FAFSA were celebrated in a special assembly called the FAFSA Festival. Students entered raffle drawings for prizes that included a flat screen TV, Beats headphones, and graduation packages, just to name a few. The Paris High School FAFSA completion rate reached 64% this year. So after that, we had the 8th grade electives fair. We had Pinacati and Innovative Horizons come to Paris High School this past Friday. They were able to touch bases with all the electives we have on campus and all the 35 clubs we have, and watch performances by band, cheer, JRTC, and dance. It is a fun time for all of us. So we all love at Paris the opportunity that we get to touch bases with all the incoming freshmen. So they get the vibe. They don't come in blind, pretty much, to the high school. So our student of the month for February was Nathan Bell, and the student of the month for this month, which was March, is Reina Navarez. Our teacher of the month for February was Master Sergeant Salcedo from JRTC. And then for this month, we had Mr. Mesa from the math department. So congratulations to all the top students and teachers. You are worth every bit of the title you are giving. Thank you, and happy Easter.
Thank you. And Trustee Gundes.
From Pinacate Middle School, student rep Rudy Chavera and Veronica Barrios Espinosa.
My apologies, Mr. Gundes. I don't know why they're not here, but they will be here next time.
All right.
Yeah, rookie principals.
Okay. Okay, then that's to me. From the Academy, student representative Ashley Henderson.
Good evening, President Nelson, members of the school board, Dr. Greenberg, and the entire Academy. My name is Ashley Henderson. The Academy staff and students have been hardworking, teaching, learning, and growing. We had our award assembly today, marking the end of the 6-week grading period of the semester. We celebrated those students who have achieved and results in attendance and academics. We each received Eagle dollars for the attendance and were able to spend them on our hard-earned dollars at our Eagle Dollar store. Today, we also had a field day challenge involving staff and students working together on common goals. It was amazing. Mr. Jackson did a great job putting it together for us. At the Academy, we are working on creating college-going campus, which participates in the college kickoff in October. We had our very own career day in December. We had a couple of college tour plans. In February, we celebrated Black History Month by learning more about accomplishments in African Americans, making posters and creating a 12-foot-long timeline. March is Irish American Month, and we have learned about struggles they encountered during the potato famine when so many people from Ireland came to America. Our Friday Night Live Club sponsors Casey's Pledge to help us remember not only not to drink and drive, but not to get in the car with someone who has been drinking. As young people, we have a voice. We also had Pink Shirt Day and creating a caring campus. Next week, some of us will be attending the Youth Summit in Temecula. FML provides some great experience for us. In our math classes, we have access to robotics program, which is very cool. We are currently working on creating a modern maker space, and we're using during science classes. March 6th through the 8th, we have our mid-cycle WASP visit. We would like to report that it was very successful. The committee acknowledged all the positive challenges they observed during the visit. Our mentor program continues at the academy, but we would like to expand the program to reach every student. This has been a huge success with some of the students. We need each and every one of you to volunteer to mentor a student. Please email Dr. Garcia or Ms. Stanford if you would like to mentor a student. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge the Employees of the Year. Teacher of the Year, Yvonne Seaborn. Rookie Teacher of the Year, Gabriella Zimmerman. Classified Employee of the Year, Stephanie Stanford. Classified Rookie of the Year, Desiree Scott. School Counselor, Angelique Terrell Newman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Students, you guys don't have to stay if you don't want to, unless you want to. By all means, you may go if you want to study. Yeah. Thank you. Those of you standing in the back, we do have seats in the front row now if you'd like to sit. No takers. Okay. Oral report, CSA President Claudia Davis.
Good evening, President Nelson, school board members, Dr. Greenberg, and Cabinet. Happy March. Well, the month and year are going fast. Next thing you know, people will be retiring. Our Vice President, Elvin Hill, our Secretary Teresa West, Treasurer Lori Hayes, and myself went to Officer Skills Training this past Saturday. It was very informative, and there were quite a few pointers on how to run our chapter and do our respective jobs successfully. When you are trying to grow your chapter, it's nice to know what you can and what you shouldn't do. Our member, Adam Weinberger, has been selected by CSEA Association President Ben Valdepena to represent CSEA and to assist the California Department of Education in evaluating this year's Classified School Employee of the Year applications. Woohoo, woohoo, oh, sorry. We would like to congratulate our own Helen Steinmetz on your RAVE Award. It was well deserved, and you definitely have found your niche. I know we have 5 months until Dr. Greenberg is due to retire, but I just wanted to say it has been an honor to work with you. I value our working relationship, and I wish you all the luck. Congratulations and have fun. On the other hand, I do hope congratulations are in order, and I look forward to working with you, Grant Bennett. Oh, shh. Oh, sorry. And finally, have a great evening. Remember to wear green tomorrow. And have a happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. PSEA President Vicki Mueller.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for this time, Board President Nellison, board members, Dr. Greenberg, and Cabinet. I want to start out by saying thank you, Dr. Greenberg, for your years of service to education and to the Paris Union High School District. During your tenure, we have seen PUHSD move from a district of have-nots to a district of haves, and making our district to be one envied by those around us. During the lean times, we held to keeping teachers, and all sides pitched in to weather a difficult storm. When the storm cleared and the financial situation of the district improved, we saw the teachers and students benefit. We saw students receiving technology and programs that allowed them to start learning and competing toward the 21st century jobs that they will be applying for. We also saw movement to reward teachers and compensate them for the hard work that they do by ultimately rewarding them with the largest raise in PSEA history. I want to say thank you again to Dr. Greenberg. As we move through these next 5 months of school, 3.5 months of the school year, I hope that we can make history yet again by once again rewarding our hardworking teachers. PSEA also wants to congratulate with approval with Mr. Bennett and continue working to build a positive and proactive relationship that the current cabinet has started. In closing, I want to also thank everyone that was involved in the casino night. It was an activity that I enjoyed very much, and I feel like it's something that brings us together. And I wish I could do this with my great uncle's Irish brogue, but I also want to give you an Irish blessing. May the dreams you hold dearest be those which come true, and the kindness you spread keep returning to you. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mueller. Okay, the invitation to address the Board of Trustees on agendized and non-agendized items. Please bear with me. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda and non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that the additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. That being said, let's see here. Chris Madalena on the subject of Grant and Dr. G.
Candace, help me out here. Where? Right here? Lower. I'm okay?
She was talking
All
to her
right.
voice.
Oh, that ain't going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Okay. Dr. Greenberg, cabinet members, board, after reading the article in the newspaper about Dr. Greenberg retiring, I wanted to speak briefly about that. After being elected the vice president of our association, I started looking at things a little more globally. I've been reading periodicals, magazines related to teachers, not only at NEA, but specifically CTA. And it was a little disconcerting when I saw articles of superintendents that the norm was about 5 years in a district, in many districts. It was even more troubling than that when I saw that some districts, which is not uncommon, have a turnstile on the superintendent's door. And they are lasting, some districts were having 7 to 8 superintendents in that many years, some not even lasting. It was quite troubling. There really isn't any consistency in the classroom if there's no consistency at the lead. And truthfully, Dr. Greenberg, I'm sure you could have had many other opportunities in larger districts, more better paying districts, and yeah, they come with headaches, but for you to commit for over 9 years really is very impressive, and I thank you for it, and I know teachers throughout the district do that as well. And we appreciate that. I tease because I was joking with a cabinet member before about the Chromebook situation, and I just thought that was going to be one huge headache when we got Chromebooks, and that opinion lasted about 2 weeks. I've never used a teaching tool so much for real-world applications in my 24 years than I've had with my Chromebooks. And boy, that was just, they're great. I just can't speak enough, not as a babysitter, but as a real-life application on a daily basis, real-time. And those are just great for us. As for Grant, I want to thank Dr. Greenberg for recommending Grant as our superintendent, the board for considering Grant as our superintendent. Grant was my hiring principal over 13 years ago. And just to say, Keep the comments down. But just to let you know, Grant has always been supportive of not only the ag program when I first started, but all programs that we had. Grant requires rigor of the program. He wants leadership in our ag programs. He insisted on that, but he's a huge cheerleader of all programs. And I really appreciated that as a new teacher in the district over 13 years ago. I just wanted to say, Grant, at any time you will always have my support. I know you'll have the support of the agriculture teachers throughout the district. I can speak for them. And I know you'll have the support of hundreds of other teachers that we're there to help you and to help you succeed at every level. So please call on us at any time because we're here to help you succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mandolino. And on the topic of, quote, stuff, unquote, Jason Miller.
That's what's on there. I couldn't think of what to put. Thank you, Board, President Nelson, Dr. Greenberg, and the Cabinet for this time to speak. Mr. Bennett, I'm glad it was you. I'm encouraged that you will be the new superintendent. Every member I speak with about this is very pleased that you've been chosen for this position. You would have been my first choice as well. We are at a time of relatively calm waters amongst PSEA membership, and we have labor peace despite a few bumps in the road here and there. I am hopeful that will continue into the next generation of district administration. I believe that recent significant changes both in PSEA and at the district administration level will continue the peace and prosperity for the PSEA membership. Dr. Greenberg, you have come a long way in this district. Administrators are very fond of throwing out the phrase, there is always room for improvement. You have met and exceeded that standard of improvement, sir. Under your watch, PSEA and the district have crafted the most significant salary increase in PSEA history. Combined with our 80-20 healthcare and a few other contractual items, PSEA has become one of the top associations in the county, and the district has become the envy of many other districts in this region. Another substantial accomplishment we've seen under your watch is that students are getting the resources in the classroom they need to succeed. And I am not talking about the Chromebooks. Many of you have poured money into our students. I've seen the equipment. The entire cabinet, Mr. Bennett, Diane Martin, Don Williamson, you have all poured money into our students, and that is an amazing accomplishment. Many programs are emerging, and our student classrooms are getting the equipment and materials that many other districts do not provide to their teachers and students. The district is committed to outfitting students in the classroom and at the same time balance their commitment to paying teachers and their families what they are worth. I'm confident that valuing employees will continue into the coming years. All the best to you, Dr. Greenberg, and your family in your retirement as you move into a new phase of your life, leaving behind some important accomplishments to PUHSD. In closing, a sincere congratulations to Grant Bennett into his new position. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Okay, on non-agendized reports, Jackie McDonald.
I really hate to follow all these people giving you all these accolades because I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Good evening, board. Dr. Greenberg, my thing was you weren't leaving till August. So I'm not praising you until August. I'm not congratulating you until August, but I'm really happy that you were chosen. Doggone it. It seems to me that updates by the superintendent, which is 9.2, that are given by staff and others presenting reports or other information are not legal according to the Brown Act. The reports are not on the agenda and were not available for public review 72 hours before the meeting. Case in point, last month's report on the staff morale survey that was conducted. Since it was not on the agenda, no one knew the report would be given. This denied anyone who may have had a concern about how the survey was conducted or the results the opportunity to express their thoughts on the matter. Whenever such reports are to be made during board meetings, they should at least be listed on the agenda so we can come in and say, I don't like that, I like that, whatever. I have another one for 11.2, but you guys got to pull it and all of that good stuff. Okay, I can stand here if you want. Because it's only 2 sentences.
So that finishes your comments for the
Yes.
non-agendas. Okay, so we're about to go into consent calendars. First, I need a motion for consent calendar.
Second.
No, I think Dr. Ross beat you. Okay. To talk on the consent calendar, Jackie McDonald.
Okay, the 11.2, award of the E-rate purchase agreement.
I believe that's 11.12, 11.12.
I'm sorry, 11.12.
Okay.
My paper says 12. As of March 13th, 2016 at 4:33 p.m., which was Sunday, this item was listed on the agenda. However, none of the contract information was listed for review, none of it. When it did appear, it was not within the 72 hours mandated by the Brown Act. And I think this item would have to be brought back at a later date because you're not supposed to be able to vote on things that were not in the agenda 72 hours before. And I went to Brown Act school, so I know the rules. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
There was a mistake on the written dollar amount on the contract. It didn't match the actual matrix of the pricing. So the written dollar amount didn't match the number dollar amount. So we had to replace the contract on there, and that's how that happened.
So just to clarify, because I want to make sure that we're legal in approving this, there was an attachment, but the $2 amounts didn't match, and so you. So
As of Friday, there was an attachment, and then
it was replaced. Okay.
So I'm not sure at what time it was replaced.
Okay.
There was originally an attachment. The attachment was pulled and then replaced with this.
Well, my suggestion, Nick, is there any reason to approve this tonight? Can it go at the next board agenda? My recommendation to the board would be to pull it and and comport with what Mrs. McDonald's asking for.
Do I? Okay, so we have a first and second to pull 11.12, 11.12, and move it to next month. All right. Any other questions on consent? Okay. Please vote with the changes made. Okay, thank you. Okay, and with that, introduction of promoted and or new employees.
Well, I'm going to ask Grant Bennett to come to the podium while I read a statement. Tonight, I'm honored to announce that the governing board has hired Grant Bennett as the district superintendent, effective with my retirement on August 31st. Everyone who has either worked with or for Grant will tell you he's the nicest person they have ever known. Grant started his PUHSD career in 1993 after spending his first 2 years as a classroom teacher in Orange Unified. For 6 years, Grant was a superb mathematics teacher at Paris High School. He also coached a number of different sports at Paris High and was the school's athletic director. In 1999, he became an assistant principal at Paris High School, and a little more than a year later became the principal of Paris High School. Grant was the principal there for more than 6 years. He's widely credited with changing the school's culture, while test scores continue to soar. In 2006, Grant was named as the principal of the district's newest high school, Heritage High School. He was given 1 year to work with the architects, contractors, parents, and students to help form a new high school in Romoland. Heritage's great successes today can be traced back to the people Grant hired and the programs he brought to the new school. After 3 years at Heritage, I recommended Grant to become the district's Director of Pupil Services. As he has done everywhere else, Grant transformed the department, improved services to students in schools, and improved relationships. In August 2013, with the district's focus on improving student outcomes, Grant became the district's first Director of Learning Support Services. Besides assisting the district in the creation of its first LCAP, Grant led the district's efforts in creating the best professional development for school employees in Riverside County. As most of you know, Grant Bennett replaced Marcy Savage less than a year ago as Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services. Now, if all that weren't enough, in almost 23 years in the Paris Union High School District, you may not know that Grant has donated his time, energy, and talent to many volunteer and charitable organizations here in our community. Grant may be the most active Paris Rotarian, sorry, Mike, more than you, the most active Paris Rotarian the club has ever known, and he has been president of the Paris Club more than once. On top of that, he has been president of the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce and almost single-handedly ran that organization as needed. Finally, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that Grant is a wonderful husband and terrific father. There isn't anything he wouldn't do to support his family. I want to thank the Board of Trustees for recognizing that this school district has come a long way in recent years and that Grant's promotion to superintendent in part is acknowledgement for the great things Grant Bennett and others have done to make, as Joe Williams always reminds us, that Paris Union High School District is a great place to learn and work. Grant, congratulations.
Wow, I didn't expect that, but thank you very much for the applause. That was great. Before I really get into it, I really want to thank the board, President Nelson, the Board of Trustees for this opportunity and the confidence you have in me to make the right choices and move our district forward. I'm really looking forward to this challenge, and I think we have some great things to do. I want to make sure I don't mess up and miss my wife and son that are here. Oh, my wife Pam is here, and my son John. You guys can stand up. We've been married for over 30 years, so it's been a good ride, I think.
Grant, stand with the things you know.
Well, I did hear some laughing when you said that people like me, so I was...
And these are not for you. These are for your lovely wife.
Oh, that's
because,
very nice.
You will be disappearing.
I'll go deliver them.
Didn't you pick those up this afternoon, Grant? That's what I remember.
That was right in the top of my list. Fellow cabinet members, I really look forward to our working together and making this a better place. We want to continue growing and making Paris a place that we can be proud of more than we are now. One thing kind of unique about our district is the stability we've had at the superintendent level. I've been here 23 years, and over 20 years we've had two superintendents. Dr. Greenberg for the last 9+ years, and before that Dennis Murray. I was thinking of just some of our local districts here that have had four superintendents over just the period of time Jonathan's been here in the last 9 years. So I think that stability is a great thing for our district, and I hope to continue that legacy of stability and longevity in the district.
They're not laughing with you, Grant.
Looking at the past two superintendents, when Dennis Murray was here, we had major challenges fiscally in our district. The district was almost bankrupt and brought us out of that, and building and the construction that went on, adding on to Paris High School, be able to do another bond to build Heritage High School. Some great things happened. And then Dr. Greenberg taking over, and the construction continued. We did all the work over at Pinacati. We're continuing the work over at Paris High School. We bought the property, and we have half the money ready for the new school down in Menifee. And so those things have been very positive and awesome, and not even to mention that the technology updates, being a district that with our Scholar Plus program, be able to go one-to-one for our students to help them. It's an equalizer for our kids. We have kids that come from poor homes and families, and this is a great equalizer to be able to give them the finest technology they could have in our program, and we have Dr. Greenberg's leadership to thank for that. As for me, as we move forward into what we're looking at, we're really going to be focused on closing the gap for our kids. It's a little different time now. Our major focus is to increase graduation rates. Which would in turn drop dropout rates down. We want to improve our pass rate in all our classes, increase our college and career readiness and A through G completion, and increase the number of kids in our CTE programs because we want them college and career ready. And we want to look at safer campuses. All those are wrapped around our LCAP goals, but I think that's where our focus is going to be as we move forward. And I think the vehicle for that will be the increased rigor that we're looking into our professional learning communities. That's going to be our real focus on how we can do data-driven decision-making with our teachers and our staff, creating common assessments, collaboration time, be able to work together. Because we don't need to bring experts from the outside. We have great teachers in our district that are experts, and them working to be able to have those chances to work together are going to make it better for our kids, engaging students in using the technology that we have available, more than just a replacement for a paper and pencil. It's now using that for a learning tool. I think our greatest asset in our district is our kids and our families that we have here. I've been around 23 years, and I just love the kids in our community. Been at Paris High and Heritage High, seeing kids from all different communities come to these schools. And our kids deserve the very, very best that we can give them. Nothing less than that. We have to make sure we're doing what's right for our kids. And if we're doing what's right for the kids, we're doing what's right for the community. We want to continue to offer our outstanding teachers professional development that will help them grow in their profession as we're looking at changing our professional learning communities. We want to make sure that our classified staff has the same opportunities for professional development. They're really the backbone of the district, the unsung heroes. And they're the ones that we need to make sure we're supporting them. Kind of in closing, I'm confident in myself, our team, and the district will continue to make a difference in the lives of our students. I look forward to taking on the challenges that come with this position and the future of the Paris Union High School District. And again, I want to really thank you for this opportunity, board. I look forward to working with everyone. We're here, my turn talking right now. But we also want to celebrate Dr. Greenberg. We will have times later on, but what he's done for our district over the 9 years has been incredible. The growth in student population, in programs, in one-to-one. And I wanted Candace to add some more to that as I finish.
Yeah, so at the risk of making my current superintendent upset, who didn't want anything said about him, the new guy has asked me to say a couple of things. So
I still have one more shot at her evaluation.
I know.
And I still have assistant in front of my name, I know.
But I do have to say, you clearly have molded Grant because he did take many things I was going to say about you just in the few sentences he said about you. So good job there, Grant. But on behalf of the cabinet and the entire leadership team, we so much enjoy working for you and will continue through August. You allow us to grow and learn and do wonderful things for this district. You forgive us when we make mistakes because we're trying really hard to do those things for the district. And I just wanted to, I know that your greatest accomplishments and the things that we are all the most proud of is how you build relationships with people and allow us to all work as a team. And I know you're very proud, and we are too, of the passage of Measure T, our one-to-one program, as Mr. Bennett mentioned, as well as the addition of the 7th period day. I know that is your legacy, and you're very proud of that, and we just all appreciate very much having worked for you this time, and we look forward to working for Grant and continuing that. So, sorry if you're mad at me.
I wanted to add one other thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my group that we work with over at SSC. I have such a great group of people over that make me look good, so I can get up here and make these speeches. But I want to thank the team over at SSC for everything you've done since I've been there and since you've been in there together. It's a great group, and I want to thank them, and especially my secretary, Christine Harris. Thank you, Christine.
Mr. President, I'd recommend we take a break, if that's all right with you, and celebrate Mr. Grant Bennett as the new superintendent. Over in the testing room, we have cake and punch. And
Okay,
that's
we'll
okay with the
recess for about 15, 20 minutes. 6:42.
You're doing a good job. Somebody's hiding.
That's right, see? Always.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Rhodes. I'm the principal at CMI.
Oh, yes, okay.
How you doing, buddy? Good.
Okay. Video stuff.
Beautiful flowers. That was so sweet. He'll be the boss still. Of everyone.
Tell you to buck up now, bucko.
Good camper. Congratulations to you. I'm going to give you a hug because even though...
Congratulations. I know your dad's so proud of you. And you're doing great. Congratulations, Pete.
Congratulations to you.
He's
I know
earned
all
it.
about you. I was like, oh, your son's here from college? Like, welcome. And the weather's so much better here.
No, it's so warm.
Should be so proud of your dad. That's awesome. Like, you get to hang out with your mom, though, right?
Anyway, congratulations.
Everybody
My wife Pam.
Congratulations. You're going to see even less now. Oh, that's a good thing.
That's okay.
This bit is 150 million euros. Well deserved. How's college going? Yeah? You're in New York? You like it back there? Like the weather too?
Yeah, it's fun. It's different, so it's nice.
He's been sweating and wearing shorts around here.
Had experience doing this.
Yeah, good. Well deserved.
Look over there.
Grant was joking about the flowers today, and she was going to buy her flowers, and then the ad kids are going to make her flowers. Just have
I know.
How are you, Mr. Barry?
That's the week after graduation. If it comes up, I would love to go. I would love to say,
Hey, what more can you ask for on that?
Oh, okay. Okay. I think he is definitely the best person to do it. And that was a big factor. All that stuff goes into our decision making. He was the assistant superintendent level for this year, but he's done all this, he's done all this, he's seen where he's done. I mean, he's like overwhelmingly liked by the entire staff. We never get that anyway. So we have people who hate you, or people who love you. And this guy is loved by everybody. You're like, look at this. That's I know. When we started looking all the stuff he does with Rotary and cars, you're like, is this guy ever going to hold? That's the question.
Way over here.
Okay. Oh, you're going to do it at education services? Yeah, I'm doing a little bit. We're just over 10 right now.
So I started one design and I didn't like it. It just wasn't.
So what did they promise you to get you out of retirement for that? They threw in everything, didn't they? It's our only good one. Well, and we have a great staff over there. We have great kids over there. We just need the right leadership. That's all. What, 12 weeks left? 11 weeks left, something like that? That's good to hear. It's always on that side. Allow the assistant principals to not by the way, but it's overtime. You're going to go over to get we appreciate it. All right. I went to Heritage. I was thinking, you were only had a few weeks. I wasn't going to like come in and like pound on your door, but I would love to come to see you guys next month. So.
You know, Steve talked about the road. There were so many Anacati lodges. We need 3 more relocators. We need 2 more. We need 5 more.
That was always when we did all that construction.
He saw, all of that, and it took its toll.
We used to, before we had you, I had to go out and all the developments, find out where the build out is going to be, how many units they're going to have, take the ratios,
Yeah.
2, 3 for every house, and try to predict where we're going to go. We got better.
They think that a quarter of them are going to be middle school. 0.23. Okay.
Yeah.
Not necessarily middle school.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But isn't it amazing to see it now? I mean, when I first started, he was not a whiner. He was not, he just said, I have fewer kids. I just do. I mean, 1,300 Anacati kids are not.
Not on that campus. Yeah. Well, I came when you guys just had started the first thing. The gym had been built.
Right.
But they were building that the first the building southeast corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they hadn't built the 2-story yet. Right. I was walking through that building. That was my first visit to that site. Was just walking through that building before it had finished. And it was like, I can't even imagine what it looked like.
Yeah. It was survival. You can't even imagine looking at what's happening. One of my assistant principals.
I talked to Jared Elementary. Grew up to be school for the money we have. Wait till
Oh,
you see the
grown-ups.
money. They're like, well, we can propose. Yeah, give me a second. Dude, you've been laughing stuff in the entire county. You start off in high school. Right, You could phase those out. Exactly. It's always going to be, it's never going to be what you ever wanted if you start that. And it's like saying things that are image. I want you to have fun. It has to be right. It has to be right.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak.
Yeah, 14 on 14.
But I have to go call, I have to read it, I got to call.
Okay.
Because they didn't want it for 3 days.
We'll probably. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes it's better to just. Every single time I see them. So when's anyone? Whenever it is. When I can't force the stick. It was the same. I know. But I'm hoping they can get that on that one. I'm hoping that we can include something.
Well, the thing that we're doing is the plan.
We're doing everything on our spot, on our side that we can possibly.
Okay.
But I mean, we're doing everything we should. I don't want. We're just not getting the support for the state.
I don't know if John told me, probably not, because he never wanted to. He and I went.
With doors open? No.
We did think you share it this high school. That is.
I've been kind of making a way through this.
Yeah.
They are phenomenal.
It is.
Phenomenal. If I were a teacher, I would want to work there.
Right.
In a heartbeat.
So when you know this,
If there was a PE opening, I would take it today, honestly. I teach PE, so that's what it is.
said, we need statewide to support the 75 majors on our voters.
We don't even need a one-to-one now. We just need probably about 50.
Exactly. Well, I sure as hell should. I was thinking facing the school, because in Menifee, we don't face them. How you doing? I know!
Well, and I went to Masters of Goodness training, and we did finance with Rodman. And we were asking questions like, should we put another bond just to do this thing? The voters, when they already voted in, and we're waiting on the state, the voters will take us the rest of it.
Not to mention, you're not high school.
Exactly. It's not even their jurisdiction. They're not high school. They're not a unified district yet. It has absolutely nothing to do with them yet. I mean, I just can't get their in like 2 seconds and realize that nothing that they can do or we can do can change the fact that we're in this situation.
They have a bond coming in by number.
For the schools of their own.
All the way to my
And then,
Yes, it's right there.
That's a big deal. Their school is under the
Other than that.
We'll do that.
Yeah, our state is.
People would just say, hey, what happened to Keith?
I'm so glad you're back.
Okay, if we can resume our board meeting, we would like to go home sometime tonight. Come on back. I don't know how far these speakers reach, but come on back. What do you think I'm doing? Yeah, I know. Nobody wants to be around me. It's okay. Yeah. Hey, if I could go after cake was done, I would be. All right, we will resume at 7:14. Resume to 12.2. Oral reports on career technical education incentive grants.
Okay, Mr. Bennett, are you ready to introduce?
Technical education grant?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
He's now, he's the superintendent-elect now, so he's.
Oh, Diane Martin's here this evening to share about the grant that we received. I'm not going to steal her thunder about how much money it is because it's pretty exciting, but it's a chance for us to expand our CTE program. So Diane, it's all yours.
He almost stole the thunder there. Congratulations, Grant. Good evening, Board President Nelson, board members, Dr. Greenberg, cabinet members. I have good news. I mean, it's a night of good news, I suppose. And I wanted just to share with you that our district was awarded the Career Technical Education Incentive Grant in the amount of $1.4 million. Can I get a woohoo? I was going to do that. Thank you for joining me. So we're really excited that we have this opportunity to expand our CTE programs, to develop new programs. The state of California had $336 million to allocate to 365 applicants, and so we were one of those. And so the grants really range from anywhere from $26,000 to $3-4 million, depending on the size of the district. So we were very, very lucky, encouraged, happy that we went to the January board meeting, the State Board of Education, and were approved for a $1.4 million. It's an 18-month grant. It's the first of 3 grant cycles, so we will have an opportunity to apply for additional funds within the next 3 years. And believe me, we will make sure that we do that to continue to expand our programs. So the purpose of the grant really falls along the same lines as our Perkins formula grant that we get every year, which is about $268,000. So this allows us to really expand and develop new CTE pathways. So this is a chunk of money that allows us to build some infrastructure. With our formula grant with Perkins, we're not allowed to use those funds for that reason. So we're very excited that this is part of what we're going to be able to do. With the grant, along with what we do with Perkins, is it focuses on integrating academics with career technical standards. It allows for professional development. It allows us to connect employers and students. It provides and prepares students for the high-demand jobs such as robotics, information technology, healthcare, teaching, and emergency services. So we are very happy that we're going to be able to work with our business advisory committees, our CTE teachers, working very closely with the business department to be able to determine what our projects are going to be and what we can and cannot do. But part of the grant, what we have to do, and with our Perkins, is we have to follow up with our students. You know, we have to make sure that we are working on increasing high school graduation. We are working on providing opportunities for our students that are in pathways to earn industry certifications, any licenses, certificates that are within the industry sector. So those are parts of what we have to do with the grant. When the students complete when the students graduate and they move on and they've gone to any of our CTE programs, we have to do follow-up. So we call all of our students, our seniors, and we ask them, what have you been doing this last year? Have you gone into the military? Have you gone on to further your education? And if you did, was it within the industry sector and the pathway that you were enrolled at the high school? Also, are you doing anything? We have some that aren't doing anything. That's like, well, I'm just graduated and I'm not doing anything. So we actually work with those students to provide them some transition skills if they're still living locally. We have a lot of students that we follow that have gone, completed pathways, that have gone to 4-year colleges. Ag was a big push. Chris isn't here, but I know some of our follow-up phone calls, we had a lot of students that continued on into Davis. And so that was very encouraging for us. So we have to follow this up every year. So every year we make phone calls. We have our parent liaisons. We have folks at the sites that are following up. So that's part of the grant as well. So we have to make sure that we are keeping up with that. So the best part of this job is really determining what our projects are going to be. So when we spoke with our business advisory committee, as well as our career technical advisory and our teachers during our SACs, is we came up with a short list, but it is a mighty list because these are big ticket items. And I know that our first priority is really to focus at Paloma Valley High School. There's no expansion or facilities growth that are happening at Paloma. They have what they have. And so our goal is to use some of these funds to be able to expand the automotive program, which is currently there in its first year already, to be able to put in some of those pieces of equipment that we can use for these funds to be able to install lifts, the brakes, the tire changer. All of those things that go with car repair. So we're very excited that we are going to continue to move that forward. We're also looking at the possibility of doing a prefabricated lab class, shop class. I know Candace and I are working on the terminology on that and what we can and cannot do. As far as the grant is, a lot of infrastructure can be used. So we're looking at trying to find some funding sources that we can do the foundational work. We're going to expand our veterinary science at Paris High School, which would basically include a lot of equipment that they need as they are expanding that pathway. Ag mechanics also, and as well as Heritage High School, we're looking to include welding. So we are going to be meeting with a vendor that has a welding simulation kit, and this is where it is the coolest thing I've ever seen, and so they're going to come out and demo. If any of you are interested in that, it is really cool. The helmet itself has indicator lights inside, and what it does is it teaches the kids through simulation, and they actually have a welding torch, but it's a simulation, and they're actually, with the sound effects, they are actually learning how to, and they learning how to weld corners and things. Those are the corner thing. The welding corner thing. I'm sure somebody in here Hector could probably tell me what that is. What's that? Okay, fine. My support staff. But what's really cool is that it's the use of technology, and it really teaches the kids before they actually get a real torch in their hand and be able to weld and spot weld, they have to pass the simulator. So these indicator lights are green and red, and they are telling the students whether their angle is off and if they're going at the wrong speed. So we'll be having that demo. So we're very excited. The ag teachers are very excited as an opportunity before the kids actually get something hot in their hands. So we're looking forward to having that demo. Very exciting, cutting edge, a lot of technology. So we'll be inviting Shane to that workshop there because we know he likes that kind of stuff. Also, we're working with Heritage High School and Farrowing Barn. That is, of course, Chris left me to describe that. My understanding is that the Farrowing Barn is so the mommy pig can have her little baby pigs, and it's a controlled setting. Students will be working in the, I should ask Mr. Gundis to share what that is.
The sow.
Okay. Former ag teacher, yes. So we are working on possibly having that as on our short list of things to do. We will continue to work with all of the other pathway programs to increase and expand the products, help with the students with the products that they are working in, the materials and supplies, the equipment, all of those things. So we're meeting with our advisory committees and our CTE teachers to flesh that out. So we're very excited. This is a short list, and we will be working closely with the business department as well as facilities to see what we can and cannot do with our grant funds of $1.4 million. So I will be reporting back in June and be providing you an update. We're going to showcase many of our programs, so it'll be a little bit longer presentation, but we're going to showcase all of our CTE pathways and what they've been working on this year. And we will have a final list of our proposed projects with the dollar amount. So we're going to take this short list and present back in June what that is going to look like. So we're very excited at the opportunity to have our students and our teachers, and I wish Jason was here because he'd be very excited to hear that, we have this pot of money that will also be able to help support the CT programs at Paloma Valley High School. But it's great for... There, thank you, Don. Thank you. This is really derailed quickly. So anyway, I will be reporting back in June with an update, but we're very excited that the district has this opportunity, and we will continue exploring additional funding opportunities in the next 2 cycles that are coming up. So do you have any questions? I apologize for my vocabulary because some of these terms are just not something that I use every day.
Yeah. Well, remember, you can take the boy out of Montana, but you can't take Montana out of the boy. Diane, I think it's well worth saying to everybody, if you haven't had a chance to go over to Paloma and see what they're doing in this auto shop, this auto program. I don't even want to call it an auto shop. It's more than changing oil and brakes and tires. Tom is really, I mean, the kids are designing cars. They're testing them out. They have real engines they're taking apart, and it's amazing. And so our kids are actually going to be, we're hoping they'll get the jobs in designing because that's where the money is in terms of designing automobiles of the future and fuel cells. And he's got it all. It's really amazing.
Yeah, we went with Pitsco, big organization, so he's got a whole series of modules that he's working on and working. This is the first year, so working out some kinks. The course is going for A through G, so we're very excited to have an automotive course go through for A through G approval. So we're very excited about that as well.
And just remind the board, it's not running 6 periods a day; it's running 7 periods a day. So again, the 7th period gives the kids the chances to take these classes that they couldn't take before or we didn't offer before. And Diane, I really appreciate your leadership on this.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, information suspension report. There for your perusal. Okay, 14.1 action item, presentation of and approval of new district logo. Do I have a motion? We have to get a motion first.
Second.
Okay, Dr. Rouse. Do we want to make a?
Yes, we'd like to make a presentation, and then if Mrs. Clark would like to speak or board members, that's great. But so I thought we'd have Grant and Candace and Joe Williams come up and show us some exciting stuff.
Take a bit to get set up here.
The word we haven't used tonight and we need to use, because we do it all the time, is innovation. And Joe and his team, and in collaboration with Grant and Candace, have been working on, again, a way of branding us. And it is about innovation. And we're trying to make sure our kids know that learning is about innovation.
Okay, well, we're here to kind of talk about, we're going to start out with some information about what's been going on in the district. I'm not going to read all those to you. I know you can all read that. But what we're really looking at is what are the things that make our district great? What are the special things that students come to our district and they get to experience, teachers get to experience, and the whole community really gets to benefit from? If you look up there, there's a lot of things that are dealing with what we've done in the last 3 or 4 years with our Scholar Plus program, and that's our teaching and learning initiative. We've been adding tons of things into that program. We've done a lot of professional development to help teachers on how to use the technology in the classroom. We've been building maker spaces now where kids can go in and tinker around, learn how to do different things, how to show their learning in a different method. We do, like I said, we do a lot of professional development. We've had those 2 professional development days each summer, and then in January this year, where we get to reach out and really do a lot of things that you couldn't do at just a normal PD. Some of the other things in our professional development is we've done ed camps where the teachers own the learning. They come in, they say, I want to learn about this, and we get a group together and they talk about it. We have what I would call us is we're a collaborative district. Is what we're open to people coming from the outside. So we're kind of ambassadors for the whole technology program. We had Harupa Valley come out and visit our school to see what we're doing. We've had them come all the way from McFarland to come down and see what we're doing technology-wise. San Jacinto coming over. So we're not just being a closed area. We're really trying to reach out and share what we're doing because we think we're doing some great things. And thinking about that, we have to start looking at, we started thinking about our logo. We look at our current logo, and it's kind of dated now. It shows what it used to be like, a lamp, the lamp and the quill and the ink and a ruler, all those things. Yeah, I was going to pick on somebody, but I decided not to.
Grant, I'm glad you took the geography book off the top.
Yeah, but thinking about that, what are we doing now in our district? We're not the lamp, and we're not the quill, and we're not a ruler. We're about technology. We're about moving forward. We're about changing the way education is looked at it by our students and our community. So we think we need to update our image, and the logo is one of those things that we think would be appropriate. Go ahead, Joe. So we're talking about branding our logo for our district, just like we did with Scholar Plus. That was something branding that we could go out and really promote. What can it do? We can stay. If we have a consistent logo, we can stay on message with what our target is. This is what's important in our district. This is what we think. We want everybody out in the community to know. Other school districts know this is what the Paris Union High School District's about. These are our core values of where we're trying to come from and what we want to do. And branding a school district or our logo, that's unique to us. So this would be all about the Paris Union High School District, not about Val Verde, not about these other, because a lot of the logos you look at other districts, they look similar to what our current one looks like. You see the same type of thing, the lamp and a quill and those things, but we want to push our district to a new level, just like we have with our technology plan. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe now, and he's going to carry on. I had paper, Joe, sorry.
Well done, Grant, with the paper. That was I did. I every time that printed out, I was like, oh, another page. But I wanted to kind of give you a peek behind the scenes of our creative process and what it took to ideate before a logo was even worked out. This is similar to when in Scholar Plus, before we did anything, we created desired outcomes. We created desired outcomes for students and teachers before we even talked about devices. You got to make sure that things are student and teaching first. So some of the things behind the scenes that we talk about, we've talked about, you see the top corner, the growth mindset, and that's symbolic of the growth mindset. And the second one is sort of a constructivist model of education, a maker space, a hacker space, a tinker space. And then the next bubble, we talk about wanting to take advantage of anytime learning, mobile learning, and 24/7 learning. And of course, also, we still do offer unique experiences in our classroom with high-level technology, including computer-assisted drafting, and that sort of gets in there. And the last slide is, of course, we want all of our kids to graduate. And the symbol there, it's really a bright future. And so we took all these ideas together, and we're still ideating, we're still going through it, and we're bouncing ideas off about power and always and having the power on, and that we have bandwidth everywhere on our campuses. I like to joke that come to Paris Union High School District, we'll leave the internet on for you, sort of like the Motel 6. Trademark Joe Williams. And also, again, you can see the circuit board that is evolving into something organic, like the growth mindset. And as these things came together, and as we took this idea to learn, that the last outcome of Scholar Plus was to create equitable learning experiences for all students. And this is sort of symbolic of equitable learning experiences for all students, especially those of underserved populations. And we're just kind of ideating, we're going through it, and we're putting the pieces together, and we're looking at the symbols, and we have the growth mindset, and we have the bright future, and we're putting things together, and these elements came together in sort of a unique pattern, and this is what we came up with. So you can see all the elements represented here. I can also tell you there's a uniqueness of branding. And of course, right now, there's no words to this. And I don't know if you've noticed, but when brands have arrived, they will strip off you just see the Pepsi logo, and it's Pepsi, not that, we're trademarking that. But this is symbolic of the growth mindset, the anytime learning, the power button, and the bright futures. And then here's some other iterations of it with the Paris Union High School District wording on it, with the Paris Union High School wording on the side, other views of it. Because one thing you shouldn't do is you shouldn't fix a brand with just one type of lettering. You should have uniqueness to it, and Candace will go more into detail with that. And there's also an opportunity to put some of our key phrases in the logo, and so tying this all together, it keeps us on message. It keeps us who we are, and it does add to a uniqueness to this.
Okay, so I'm going to let you in on a little inside joke, inside secret. Those of us that worked intimately with this, we call this 902. Because we went through 902 versions, approximately, that's an exaggeration, before we came to it, because we wanted it to be just perfect, to really represent what our district is about. And so I'm really pleased with what we came up with. And so, pending your approval tonight, our next step, we've been up here a few times talking about the need to market and brand. The district grant talked specifically about what the logo means in terms of branding. And so I'm going to go through some of our next steps in terms of now trying to rebrand some of the business elements. So, of course, we'll do things like have new, we should have put superintendent on there, just for fun.
And then pending board approval down below it.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, you have my Twitter handle. Did you know that?
Yeah, I see that. I see his email is Candace's email.
So
some of these edits come. Some of these edits come so fast.
Yeah.
Everything runs fast downhill out of the superintendent's
Yeah.
office.
So what happened there is I sent our marketing person all of Anna sent all of it, and so she used mine. I said, yeah, my name on everything, throw Grant's name on something, and I guess she did that literally. So anyway, so we're talking, we would need to do new business cards, new letterheads, new envelopes, all of the, the business type things. But here's some of the fun stuff. This is what it would look like if we were to do this embossed on a business card, letterhead, whatever it was we needed to do. Here it is on a shirt. Grant always says I'm pretty foo-foo and fluffy, so that's not a weight comment when he says that, though, just for the record. So, I get to do the fluffy side here. So here's another version of it here. This is what it would look like on our website. You can see that really represents us. It looks real nice there with Scholar Plus. And then you've seen some of these posters. If you haven't, they're back in the corner and along this wall. In our promotion and branding efforts with Scholar Plus and also now with the district, we've been trying to get posters out across the district and into classrooms to really, when teachers or students or whoever it is, the community looks at these posters, it says something to them about what the district is. It's not, a list of the administrators or things people don't care about. It really shows what this district is about. So we'll be working on new posters.
And that was an actual student. All of our images are real actual students.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. And then what you can see here is actually a recruitment flyer that we did, and Tanya actually has those that she was going to pass out. But so this is the first of our next steps, actually. So beyond the business branding, what we're able to do now that upon your approval, we'll be using this logo to brand the district, and we can use these for things like recruitment fairs, and that's just one example. And so, Tanya, do you want to say a couple of words about what your hopes are? I'm putting you on the spot, I know, about what your hopes of this flyer will do for you.
Apologies to Nick Hilton, who the finger is over his head. He did not make the cut in this thing.
No, I didn't get a photo of it.
So thank you for giving me that opportunity. I would like to say from the HR perspective, being able to create this brand is going to help me recruit the type of employees that we want in the district that are going to take the district to the next level. The old logo didn't really represent what we were doing. So it's really important that people see who we are, and that's going to help me recruit the type of people that we want.
Thank you, Tanya. And so
I would just like to point out the really fun, I have to tell you that as I worked with the person who helped me design this, I got goosebumps because this is the type of marketing that you see in big business, not normally in education. So the real exciting thing here was this little QR reader. QR code. I have the QR reader, and if you use it, it's an app that you can get on your phone, and when you click on that, Mr. Nellison, you could try it out for me. It will take you to edjoin.org to the Paris Union High School District recruitment page, and they will see all of our openings. So we're going to use this at teacher recruitment fairs, have it available in lobbies, give it to our employees so they can pass it out to their friends who think like them and who want to work for a great district.
And that's a good example for any of you that follow us on Twitter or Facebook. Thank goodness not everyone thinks we're crazy. No, I'm kidding. But Tanya has really embraced the marketing in HR. And so they don't just post recruitments on EdJoin anymore and hope people go there to look. We blast them out on Twitter and on Facebook with cool graphics that are eye-catching. And, we're hoping to see a big impact from that. So we are tying the two brands together, the PUHSD brand as well as the Scholar Plus brand. And just as Joe was talking about how you don't necessarily need words in a logo for it to be recognized as the brand, what has happened since we have branded Scholar Plus is people see, I call him the Scholar Dude, that's now his name, the Scholar Dude. People see the Scholar Dude and without the words, the Scholar Plus, and they know what that is. That's how we know we've had success with that branding, and so we would hope to do the same with the district as well. And we got one more of the shade animation here. And actually, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. So Grant and Joe and I are up here presenting, but there's a fourth real key team player besides the paid consultant, and that's Shane Pennell, who put this presentation together and was instrumental in at least every other iteration of the 902. 901 of the so are there any? Oh no, I forgot. I'm cutting Grant off.
This is the first step in what we're trying to accomplish. The next step as we continue on this process is we want to look at revising our mission and vision statement for the district because we want to represent what we're doing now. It's an older statement. It talks about things that maybe aren't relevant anymore, but that we're moving forward. So we want to push that in the envelope through the envelope too. Is we're growing, we're changing. Our vision and mission statement need to go along the same way. In education now, they talk about the 4 C's. They talk about creativity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration. We think those are great, but we think there are 4 more that go, at least 4 more that go along with it. Curiosity, we want the kids discovering, making connections, real life connections with what they're doing with what's out in the real world. Citizenship, and we talk about digital citizenship, where the kids are learning what is good can you do on the internet and how can you use it properly, and building character in kids. If we produce students that have these 8 items in their tool belt, we've done a great job, and they're going to be successful citizens out in our community. What we really try to talk about in this is just the way we do business here. This is the Paris Union High School District, and this is important. So that's kind of what our thoughts are. Were there any questions from me?
What do you think?
Why is the green so dull?
I think it might be on the presentation.
Is it? Because the green doesn't look like a true green.
It's teal.
On the screens versus on paper.
One of the things we tried to do, the colors, the Pantones, is that the geek word? The Pantones in the district logo match the same colors as in Scholar Plus, and that's a cost-saving thing, so that when we do printing or embroidery, we're using less color. So it does look different on the screen. Yeah, it's the same green as in the
And those colors the graphic designer would have chosen the colors to complement each other so that they don't really stand out. No one color will take over any of the other colors.
Where's the one with the words inside where the blue is?
You got it. You're going back.
Oh, go back.
Yeah. It's.
I think it needs to fly in.
Yeah,
doesn't
now
it?
let it fly in.
Shane and his animation.
It'll wait until it's green before you can press next.
You guys need some help with the tech?
Yeah, could you come here?
So when it turns green, you can click next.
Spraker's got an abacus in his back pocket.
And then hit next. I don't know if you heard me.
You didn't hear me, Steve? Remember, I fixed your cell phone, remember?
it's not easy to take a lot of the ideation and focus it and focus it and to be terse and on point and letting 3 words and again, this is something that can change as we evolve with how we're describing things. But one thing that I like what you're talking about is it allows us to control the message. It allows us to control the message on what we want to promote.
She just can't get over the color. So.
And that's the only problem we have.
I mean, if it draws me, that'll at least, it draws me. The words draw me. The color is what she's saying, and I don't know if there's other colors that I like the sun thing. I know
You want a brighter green, huh?
Yeah, it just needs to jump out at you. I don't know.
Printing in red, because red's kind of connected with the sun.
I don't know. I'd like
this
to
also
see
could be done in black and white, so that we take that into account.
See what it makes it more interesting to me that way. But that's just my opinion.
And some of it on that depends on the size of the logo when we're using it. If you have a smaller logo, like on letterhead and things,
obviously
the letters would be
you can't get the letters.
They'd be
in
white.
there,
They'd become insignificant. So that's why we're showing you all the different options that we have for different ways.
And you can't do anything about the color? Try different. You already tried that in the 975?
We could go through 1,000 more iterations, but I think Shane hit the nail on the head. There are people that do this for a living, and there's a science, I guess I would say, to colors. And as Shane says, you want colors that complement each other, and no one color dominates or stands out. Like
you want them subdued.
I cringed
you
when
don't
you
want
said
them to
red. Whoever said red.
You don't want flashing.
Yeah. And the green. Do you want me to put the screen up where it flies in? Would that be flashing?
Other comments, questions?
Thank you.
You like the color? We have one for the color here.
Well, I think the green looks like a
More earthy tone.
See it.
The green up there. Yeah. I think the green match is more of an earthy tone, anyways, with the leaves on it to show growth.
Intended to match the leaves with
Yeah.
the green.
yeah, kind of earthy.
Earthy.
Yeah, it looks more earthy.
Okay.
Well, I always like blue. But, yeah, I thought the yellow was rounded. Looks very good.
Okay. Any other questions for them? Okay. Thank you very much. Ms. Cynthia Clark, would you like to come and make your speech? Okay. Well, you can be. It's your right.
No, I'm just, so I'm going to read it because, I don't, okay. The new district logo has never been on any agenda this year or last year, and information or anywhere else pertaining to the subject. I know because I read past agendas to make sure before I spoke. Also stated was funding, saying there is no physical impact. How can that be? Now I get it, And when new business cards, letterhead, and all that at schools will need to be changed, and money will be needed, because that's what I was questioning. Because it says there's no physical impact. Well, there will be with all that, but it's coming. I understand from a certain place. I think. Okay, this recommendation to receive, then discuss, and then to approve the new district logo is contrary to the Brown Act regulation tonight. You can receive it, you can discuss it, but you can't approve it at the same time.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely
Did
wrong.
they change the Brown
This
Act?
has been on the agenda for 72 hours, Mrs. Clark,
Right.
and the public has had an opportunity to see it on the agenda, to come and speak to the board.
See it on the agenda?
Yeah, your understanding of the Brown Act is not correct.
Okay, but I could not see it until, let me look at the paper I had. I couldn't until Monday. So from Friday to Monday, I could not click on that. That's what Jackie was saying also.
Well, I don't know if your equipment is sophisticated enough, but other people were
Yeah, it
able
is.
to click on it and be able to see it over the weekend. I saw it over the weekend.
You saw the picture and everything?
I saw everything. Well, I didn't see the attachment, but again,
Yeah.
we're splitting hairs here. It's
No,
really not
I
a brown.
I just don't want us to get in trouble.
Yeah, there's no.
Okay.
I can't. And let me explain about district resources. No, we're not going to print new
Oh,
cards.
no, I understand that.
We're not going to print new stationery, but as it runs out,
Oh yeah, for
and so
sure.
we're not
I
going to print
understand that.
new cards.
I just don't want, that if this, that all three things can't be done at the same time. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we've school districts do this all the time. This is regular business and it's agendized, and the public has the right to come and
But
speak in here.
Once there's supposed to be, at least two
Well,
times.
what I would tell you is that it's on the agenda, and if people are interested and want to come see it, then they have to attend the board meeting. And our board meetings are handicapped, accessible. I don't know. They're now posted live. If you think about just 10 years ago, you had to have a physical copy of the agenda.
Right, yeah.
Now with the internet, now with the postings we have, the public is a lot more in tune than ever before with the actions taken by cities and counties and school districts. So,
Okay,
but if the board wants us to bring this back,
Then
we certainly can.
I'll tell the person I talked to that they're wrong. At the
Yeah, and again, just as a
Riverside.
reminder, and you can tell Jackie, there was an information item on the morale survey, and so it was agendized.
What
And
was the morale survey again?
it was under the information items in the last board meeting, February 17th.
Oh, okay.
So, again, it was properly
Okay, then
agendized.
I'll let the person know that doesn't work here, that is in the county, that they were wrong.
And just real quick for Transparency Board, I did some research because I asked Jonathan, gosh, does this need approval? Is it an information item? Wasn't sure. We know lots of districts have changed their logos over the years, and I couldn't find any information on the internet relative to boards approving that. And so, but regardless of that, we thought it was important to have the board be aware, and it certainly can't hurt to have you approve the logo. Then we're
I didn't understand that. What did you say? Yeah.
What I said is I went and looked at other districts that have changed their logo to see if it was brought for an information item or approval, or if they just did it as a way of doing business, if it was a board item or not. And since we couldn't find anything, there's no precedent, we thought, well, let's just bring it to the board for approval, because if nothing else, you're the board, and we want you to be excited about this.
Any other questions, comments, anything? No? Everyone's ready to vote? Please vote. Thank you. Okay, action item for this is Paris Union High School District submitting its initial proposal to negotiate with the Paris Secondary Educators Association for the 2016-17 school year. Do I have a motion? Joan and Ed. Any questions on this? Nope. Yes, this is open this at 7:53. Do we have any speakers at all? Any comments? None? Just want to go home. Okay. Okay, then we will close this at 7:54. I'm sorry. Please vote. Now we will close at 7:54. Okay. Action item: approval of the 2015-16 second interim financial report with a positive certification of the Paris Union High School District's financial condition. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right. We have someone to speak on this.
Chris Rabing will give a presentation, and I'm going to try hard not to steal any of his thunder.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Superintendent, Board President, and the rest of the board and cabinet. I appreciate the opportunity to present to you the second interim financial report presentation. Thank you. So what I have for you today is just a discussion about the themes, or start with the themes of Governor Brown's budget. The budget that Governor Brown has brought in continues to stabilize funding and programs in different areas within the state budget. He is looking to repay the educational maintenance factor. Also, what we're working towards is the state's increasing its revenue estimates, but what they are noting is that there's a continuous underestimation of Prop 98 revenues. In the budget, they also have a significant economic growth, but Governor Brown is highlighting the risk of possible recession. Local control and accountability plans remain a dominant governor's document, but what the governor has suggested is that it is time to start thinking about the potential for the slowing down of funds coming towards school districts.
Now, does the what is the legislative office or legislative analyst or who reviews this as a side party, or well, the governor can say this, but what is the legislative? What's the name of that office? LAO. Yeah. What do they say about that?
So what we've the information we received is typically filtered through the School Services of California, and they're providing us with the information that sort of analyzes that. And that's
I understand
sort of
that, but the LAO is a different party, so
They haven't yet weighed in.
oh, they haven't weighed
Yeah,
in. Okay.
the LAO will
Okay.
waive in sometime before before it may revise.
Okay.
And then you're right, though. There is another look at it from the legislature.
Yeah, that's what I look for, to see what they say, because the governor a lot of times will say something, and maybe he's saving for that train or something that he wants to build. So a lot of times they do that. So
No, and that's an excellent. Here I go.
for it.
Sorry, first
You're-
slide.
You're good.
That's an excellent point. What the LAO's opinion in is really important. And in the years where growth, I'm saying years like it's been lots and lots of years, but as we were starting to see us come out of the recession, LAO would project way up here as far as gap funding percentage, and school service would be here. And so we would take a look at that, as well as what the guidance was from the county, and determine, are we going to average those? Are we going to use school services? What's the best rationale there? So the LAO, as Mr. Gundis points out, is an important piece of the puzzle.
and it's important because they are not beholden to the governor, and sometimes the governor may have special. They're being pulled away from education to other things, and the LAO kind of puts them back, in order, right? So that's my only point.
So what we found is that the growth in education right now has been funded by three fundamental things: the Prop 30 temporary taxes, the growth in the economy, and then also the repaying of the maintenance factor. And what we're looking at now is that as we continue on, the cost of living adjustments, as they are, the increase are eventually going to be the only increase that we are going to receive. COLA over the next few years are estimated at a 2 or 3 percent range. If the COLA projection comes to pass, most districts would gain, be making significant budget reductions, only because if that COLA is the only thing they're receiving, some of the other costs that we have, throughout the year are going to be affected and maybe not be able to cover that. So the governor's suggesting that we need to prepare for that slowdown as we're getting towards the end of this gap funding problem. So the biggest focus of the district finances is the local control funding formula. As of right now, $2.8 billion is continuing to implement the implementation of the local control funding formula. New funding is established to close the gap this year at the 49.08%. At this point, we're looking at about 85% of the gap closure in these first 4 years. So what they're stating is that when we started this, the LCFF funding, when they projected what that total gap was, we're about 95% of the way there as of right now. And then the rest of this 15% is really what those additional COLAs have been for the last 4 years. As of right now, the COLA has only been 0.47 projected for next year. So it's a smaller COLA as of right now. So besides LCFF funding, we have one-time funds that are coming with part of this budget. We have $1.2 billion in one-time funds from the Prop 98. This equals about $214 per ADA. The governor suggests that these one-time funds may be used to support investments in, specifically he talks about the standards implementation, technology, professional development, the inductive programs for beginning teachers, and deferred maintenance issues. Again, this is not a mandate, and the funds can be used on any other one-time purposes. And the final funding source that we are looking at is the educator effectiveness funds. These educator effectiveness funds are allocated funds to school districts and charter schools to provide beginning teachers, administrators, support, and mentoring, along with professional development, coaching, and some other services. These funds are generated by the 2014-15 CalPADS report, providing $1,466 per FTE. Funds for this may be spent all the way up through June 30th of 2018. With these funds, our expectation is that we are going to be providing a public hearing in April and looking for an adoption of the educator effectiveness plan in May. So one of the impacts that we have to our budget is and we've talked about it before, the STRS rate increases as they continue to increase right now from the 15-16 to 16-17 school year. It's increasing 1.85% and is scheduled to continue to increase by that much as it goes through to 2021. So as we continue to increase this, it's a burden that is on the district. If we had an increase of the 1.85 next year and COLA is only 0.5, then we definitely have a gap there where we're not covering that. We might have to do some inventive ideas on how to get rid of some of the expenditures.
I think, Chris, I think this is probably the most important thing. If you look, it's historically been 8% and 8% on the STRS side, 8% for employees, about 8% for employers. The employer side is going to 19.1%. That's significant revenue that we're going to have to find to fund it. And if you look at the employee side, we've been at 8, and we're going to be at 10. Well, I should say, all the teachers in the room will be at 10, and administrators will be at 10.25. I'll go back to 0 on my STRS contribution, but Did I rub it in too much, Frank? Is that okay? But anyway, but it's really important that everybody understands this is going to have a significant impact on negotiations. And hopefully, we tried last year. I don't know. I have to contact and find out how we're doing this year. There's a CalSTRS group of districts that got together to try to educate the legislature that, look, that we all believe that STRS and PERS need to be adequately funded so that they can pay retiree salaries. We get that. But at the same time, if you're giving us this extra money and now you're taking it away on the employer side, how do we account for that? And if they don't give us additional money to account for it, which is what the STRS group is trying to encourage the legislature, give us a guaranteed funding vehicle to address this. Because if you're giving us more money with LCAP and taking it out the door on employer costs of retirement, we're not gaining anything. And so it's a serious concern.
At this point, it's not even only a concern in the STRS realm. It's also the PERS. We noticed that for next year, it's another 1.2% increase. Of all reporting, they haven't even come up with projections as of yet this year, but in past reports, we're looking at almost a 3.5% increase the following year. So again, there's something that the district is identifying as a liability and really need to take into consideration as we move forward within our budget. So in every fiscal year, we have to identify what those statutory increases are and project them for future. So we showed you the CalPERS and CalSTRS percent increases. On this next slide, I have identified what those costs are in dollars. We also have health and welfare. As health and welfare continues to increase, we have a cost expense that are attached to that. And then as we just continue, there's also step and column increases. What you can identify here is that we have almost a $1.8 million commitment as we just continue to the next year without making any changes. So as I'm creating a budget and identifying current, what we use is the assumptions provided. So we have the LCAP gap funding as it's identified. The COLA as what is projected for the next couple years is also presented here. And then I've summarized the STRS and the PERS rates as well. So using those, I have done a multi-year projection identifying where we're at. So what you can identify here is that at this point we are not deficit spending. We're continuing to gain in our ending fund balance. But what we do have to take into consideration is in your 16-17 and 17-18 school years, we haven't yet identified all of those priorities and identified what it takes to be able to meet some of the goals that the district has set within that LCAP plan. So on this next slide, we've identified some of those defined budget priorities. Continued conversations regarding budget priorities for the 2016-17 and years beyond are taking place by engaging stakeholders in activities relating to the allocation of funds within the following areas. So at this point, we're starting and we're continuing on through the year to identify site and department budgets, curriculum and material needs, facility and maintenance needs, professional development needs, as well as looking at how we're going to spend that educator effectiveness grant money, the supplemental and concentration funds, the mandated costs for one-time dollars. There's also CTE funds and some other things that are out there that we are still working with. And then any other priorities that are identified through that LCAP plan that goes along with what Grant and his department is working on. So in the fiscal side of this, what we're looking at next steps is to receive a positive certification as recommended. We have the governor's budget and being presented in the May revised. At that point, we'll get a better idea of what we're looking at to the final enacted budget. We're looking at the public hearing for the budget as well as that LCAP plan on June 6th, and then finally the adoption of our next year's budget on June 15th. And again, if there's any changes in the enacted budget, then we're looking at bringing back something to you within a 45-day period as required.
Mr. Rabin, can you do me a favor when the LAO comes out with his or her forecast? Can you make sure that we send a copy to the board members and the association presidents so they can put that side by side?
I will say that when the initial budget came out, they did endorse the higher state revenues that were included in them, but we will also send the full report when that comes out.
Well, you know, it's sad because we're still ranked, I think, 43rd or something in the nation. And, you know, at one time we were, years ago, we were number 2 or 3, right? And in the top 10 is what I was going to say. But and I asked this question at, you know, I forgot who it was over in Monterey County. We were having a meeting, and he was at the White House and all this good stuff. And because it didn't make sense how, you know, we're the Golden State, I told him. You know, we're the Golden State, and we're California, Hollywood, and all this good stuff. And yet, you know, we're down there with Alabama, Mississippi, and who else? Louisiana. And, I mean, as the poorest state or poorest funding states for kids. And all of this and that won't go away until we start doing something with that. And so I couldn't explain it. And so the guy told me, what it is that, you know, the schools can't get to, that's what he told me, right? The schools and the unions, you know, all the education folks can't get together and go to Sacramento, you know, and present a united picture, you know, because when they were negotiating at that time, and what happened is that we didn't go. In other words, we need to get together, the coalition of all interested parties, and badger those people to death so that they can fund us. Because can you imagine if they funded us at the average? You know, it would double what we're taking in, and so we wouldn't be fighting over nickels and dimes. We'd be fighting over thousands of dollars, and so it'd make a difference.
I'm not sure if you're aware that right now we're collecting signatures on petitions. And we can't do it during school hours, obviously. But if any of you would like to, it's to continue the Prop 30. And if you would like to sign petitions at the PSEA office that I've instructed our members in the parking lot and lit lunch, and you know, to gain signatures so that we can get this back on and make it permanent.
Yeah, and I saw this problem, you know, for the 21 years that I served as a superintendent. I saw, you know, it's a knowing, and yeah, they'll give us a little here and little, oh yeah, we have, but it doesn't resolve the infrastructure problem that we have. And, you know, this is California. We got money someplace. I don't know where it's going, but if those other states, Texas, let's say, or if they're at the average, I don't know, and they're a smaller state than we are, you know, by 10 million people at least, if not more, but less. And we can't, you know, come up with that money, and they can. You know, it's a shame. So I don't know. It's our legislators are letting us down because they're not fighting tooth and nail. All of them, all the wild bunch over there, because that is not going to resolve it. We're always going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. Anyway. That's my frustration.
Well, and I couldn't agree with you more, Mr. Gundes. And the prison guards, they've got the best deal of all. I mean, they make more than principals. Forget that they make more than teachers with very little minor education. But when we're spending more to incarcerate somebody per year than we are paying to educate a student, somehow we've got this backwards. So while I know there's a lot of business people who are opposed to the continuation of Prop 30, to be honest with you, Vicki, I think it's a great idea. I personally support it as well. And what we got to do, though, is make sure that that comes to public education, because the legislature has very creative ways, along with creative governors, of taking it in one door, like they're doing with this PERS and STIRS problem, giving it to us and then taking it away and saying, you should be happy we gave you all this money. Well, you're giving it to us, but you're taking it away. And you're the ones that created the problem. They're the ones that created all the goodies that Mr. Spraker enjoys and I'm going to someday enjoy. Because really, STIRS is probably too rich. I mean, it was built on the idea that revenues would continue to grow in the state, and PERS and STIRS I'm going to gladly take it, but I'm going to tell you it's going to bankrupt the state if we don't do something about it.
Steve said, "Why are you picking on him? You didn't pick on me." And
I don't pick on a board member.
And Joan said,
"I don't." Hey, listen.
Joan said she's not enjoying it
Steve,
too much.
you don't have a card. You can't speak. These three people here, 3 of my 5 board members are STIRS recipients. I'm not going to pick on them. I'm going to pick on you. Anyway, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Raby.
Thank you.
Anybody
guys.
have any questions for Mr. Raby here? No?
I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Anybody have any comments? No? All right. Before it gets out of hand over there in the audience, Mr. Williams, let's vote, please. Thank you. Okay, 15.1 information on a new course, social science for California history, meets A to G requirements. You want to speak on that? Do you want to speak on that? Okay, thank you. I appreciate you not wanting to speak on that. Information item on the new course, science, astronomy, and space science, also meets A to G requirements. Information on a new course, nutritional science, meets A to G requirements. Information on a revised course, Math 8, not A to G course. Revised course, Math Algebra 2 and Trigonometry, that does meet A to G requirements. Revised courses for English learners, that's English Language Development 1, English Language Development 2, and English Language Development 3, not A to G courses. Revised course for Math Pathways, not A to G. Information on revolving cash report for February. Closed session necessary?
No, sir.
Thank you. Good answer. Okay. Action item, student discipline matters, ratification of the agreement of expulsion. Do I have a motion? Okay, please vote. Thank you. Other items by the superintendent?
I want to thank everybody for the kind things they said about Grant and me. It was very nice, very much appreciated, and I'm a little disappointed in the leadership team. Didn't realize I was wearing a math tie with math problems to signal the move to a math teacher becoming superintendent.
Math tie for the math guy. Other items by the Board of Trustees, Dr. Rouse, Ms. Twyman, Ms. Cooley, Mr. Unes. I just want to thank Mr. Arce and the people over at Heritage. I did go to their campus today just to see what was going on over there, and I got shown around and got a chance to look at some stuff going on in the classrooms. It was pretty cool. So I wanted to thank him, but he left the room. So, well, forget him anyways. Just to say thank you to the people at Heritage. There he is. Okay. You can listen to the recording later. All right, motion for adjournment.
Second.
Please vote. Thank you very much. We are adjourned at 8:19. Thank you.
He's hard on that.
Carolyn.